everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy your own Chatmail relay server step by step using the official deployment script. By the end of this video, you will have a fully working Chatmail server that supports permission-free onboarding, automatic address creation, and secure email-based messaging for chat apps and bots. Before we start, this is important. This guide requires Debian 12. Debian 13 is not supported, and using another distribution will break things unless you know exactly what you're doing. So I highly recommend using Debian 12. Let's quickly clarify what we're building and what you need. You will need two machines. One deployment server running Debian 12, which will become the Chatmail relay. One local computer, which you will use to deploy and manage the server. In my examples, the local machine runs Ubuntu 24.04, but any Linux or Unix-like systems can work with small adjustments. Here are the minimum requirements for the server. Debian 12, 1 GB of RAM, 1 CPU, and around 10 GB of storage. That's enough for thousands of Chatmail addresses. You will also need control over a domain and access to DNS zone. Make sure the following ports are open on the server: 22, 25, 80, 443, 143, 465, 587, 993, and 3478. One important security note: the documentation assumes that port 22 is reachable during deployment, which is not ideal from a security perspective. If you can, restrict SSH to your IP or deploy from the same LAN using local DNS. We will also disable password login once the deployment is finished. On your local computer, install the required packages: Python 3-dev, Python 3.12-venv, and GCC. These are needed to create the Python virtual environment used by the deployment scripts. On the Debian 12 server, if this is a virtual machine, install a guest agent, like Camel Guest Agent. Next, we temporarily need to enable root login via password, so you do nano etc /ssh/sshd_config, and then you set permit root login to yes. After you do that, save, close, and then do a systemctl restart SSH. This is temporary. We will disable it again at the end. Now, let's talk about DNS. I will use chat.example.org here, but you will replace with your own domain. These records must exist before the initial deployment, so make sure that you have them set on your DNS zone. On your local computer, clone the GitHub repository. Do git clone https github.com/chatmail/relay, then get into the relays folder and execute the initial script, scripts/initenv.sh. This bootstraps the Python virtual environment used for deployment. Then you run scripts/cmdeploy init and then space, then your domain. This creates the chatmail.ini configuration file for your domain. This part is critical. The deployment scripts cannot prompt for a passphrase, so you must use an SSH agent. You will now create the SSH key, add a passphrase to it, and then copy it to the Chatmail server. After doing that, check you can SSH as root to the Chatmail server. If you can, you're good and ready to deploy. For details on this, check the documentation link. Now run scripts/cmdeploy run. This step installs and configures everything: mail services, TLS, Chatmail logic, all of it. Once this first setup is done, you will need to run DNS script in order to know what other DNS records to add to your domain. So run scripts/cmdeploy DNS. It will show everything that you need to add that is missing. Add them to your DNS provider, wait for propagation, and then run scripts/cmdeploy status. Finally, you can test your server by running scripts/cmdeploy test. This validates that sending, receiving, and authentication all work. You can also run scripts/cmdeploy bench. This gives you a performance baseline for your server. Now, our final step, the security cleanup. Let's go back into Debian 12 and do nano etc ssh d_config and set permit root login to no, then save and restart SSH with systemctl restart SSH. And that's it. You now have a fully operational Chatmail relay server ready for real users. You can start sharing your Chatmail domain and onboarding people immediately. No pre-created accounts, no friction. If this video helped you, consider liking, subscribing, or sharing it with someone building privacy-first messaging systems.